Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Connors College Football Predictions. Now, last week was a little bit of a weird week. I don't think that anybody was really expecting as many blowouts as there were. I went 1-2. Putting that week behind me. I have four huge games put out for you this week. I'm really looking forward to it, so I'm going to get started with those right now. First off, we have Texas A&M versus Missouri. Now, Texas A&M, despite being a three-loss team, they are still eligible for a very good bowl game. You look at their losses. It's to LSU. Yeah, that one was pretty bad. But then they also had a loss against Auburn. That game was very, very close, however, and Auburn is now the number 4 team in the country. And then Alabama, number 1 in the country. And that game was close as well. Could have went either way. So I don't think that this ranking reflects how good of a team Texas A&M is. And I think that this team knows that going in. They know that if they could get a win over a very good Missouri team, it could boost their chances of getting into a good bowl game, and that gives them a little bit of an edge in this one. I like that. Also, Johnny Manziel, coming off of a loss, is 4-0 in his career, and in those 4 games, he has 1,103 yards passing. He has 15 total touchdowns and 327 rushing yards as well. He puts up huge numbers in these types of games. I think he does the same in this one. I think he leads his Texas A&M offense. And call me crazy, but I think that Texas A&M goes into Missouri and they get the win. That's just what I think. So I'm going with Texas A&M. Next up, we have Clemson versus South Carolina. Now, South Carolina, I was looking at their schedule from this year. They have not had many convincing wins. I was looking through the games, and there were some games where I thought that South Carolina should have definitely dominated the team that they were playing, but it was very close and they barely won those games. So that kind of concerns me in this one, considering this is probably the best offense that South Carolina is going to have to face all year. Also, Clemson, they know what's at stake. They know that if they win this game, they could probably get into the top 5, considering there's going to have to be a shakeup because Alabama or Auburn is going to have to lose. So they could get into the top 5, and they could get into a huge bowl game. Um, I think that they come in fired up. They come in pumped up. It is a rivalry game, a huge rivalry game. And I think that Clemson just has more to play for. I think that that helps them in this game. Additionally, South Carolina, this defense is not as good as it was last year. Last year in this game, South Carolina completely shut down Clemson, especially Taj Boyd. But statistically, they're not getting the job done this year. They're 81st in the country in sacks. They are 55th in the country in pass efficiency defense, and they are 65th in the country in forced fumbles. So I think that Clemson can learn from what they did wrong last year, and they work on that in practice. And I think that they will beat not a weak South Carolina defense, but a weaker South Carolina defense than from what they were last year. I am going with Clemson in this one. Now it's time for the big game of the week, and it's Alabama versus Auburn. Now Auburn, they've relied on the run the whole year, really, and it's been working for them. They are second in the country in rushing yards. You look at their record, they've been doing a fantastic job. Now, they've never faced a defense like Bama. That's the problem. Alabama is first in the country in fewest points allowed, and they are fourth in the country in rushing defense. So, do I think that this Alabama defense could stop Auburn? Yeah, I think that they could. And if they do, then they force Nick Marshall to throw the ball, and that's not really a strong suit. Auburn is 80, not 80, what am I saying? I don't know. I'm out of it today. They're 104th in the country in passing yards. So, like I said, if Alabama could force Nick Marshall to throw, then they have this game locked up. Also, I found this very interesting. Just a fun fact. College Game Day is at the Iron Bowl this week, and they are at this game. So, in the past 6 games that College Game Day has been in an Alabama game, Bama is 6-0. I thought that was a good stat. Decided I'd just throw that in there. So, boom, there you go. That's why I'm going with Alabama. Alabama over Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Now it's time for the night train, lock of the week. and I'm going with Stanford over Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame is 75th in the country in points. They are 65th in the country in total offense, and they're also 107th in the country in red zone efficiency. Those aren't very convincing numbers. And we all know what the Stanford defense can do. They shut down Oregon a couple weeks ago. And going into this game, Notre Dame is already struggling. I think that they're going to struggle even more, like a lot more in this game. I think that this is a no-brainer. Stanford gets the W at home. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoy this awesome week in college football, and I will see you next week. Peace.